This is the Big Friendly Swim podcast. I'm the Big Friendly host, and today's guest is this Olympic silver medalist in the 1500 from the Tokyo Olympics, Erica Sullivan. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, I have so much more time now. I'm glad I could take some time.
So, just starting things off here, walk me through the Tokyo Olympics, and this might be a bit of a heavy question to go right out the gate here with. But what did it mean for you to come away with an individual silver medal? And I watched a mixed zone interview that you did right after trials, where you talked about what it meant for you to even make the team after you lost your dad a few years before that.
Yeah. It's always funny. I've always found myself blacking out. Let me fix that. Um, Wait a sec. I'll do this and then I'll now start the answer over when I
No,
answer
you're
it.
good.
Edit it out.
You're good, no worries.
Okay. There we go. People should leave me alone now. But yeah, no, I think the funny thing is I always end up in mixed zone interviews and I just word vomit my way through everything. Like I don't think people understand that you usually go to the mix zone like freshly out of the water.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like I'm so like oxygen deprived for so long that it's just like word vomit. Like I don't know. I feel like sometimes people think like I have an agenda of what I want to talk about going into it. Nope, you're getting the real, true, unfiltered thoughts of Erica
Have you
Sullivan.
seen like this Zach Harding in the mix zone is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen because
No, I
he's just
haven't.
fully unhinged.
Yeah, like it makes sense. Like the process of this filtering everything before it comes out of here just doesn't happen. So like immediately just the first thing that comes to my mind is just spewing out of me. So and I usually don't go back and watch a lot of my interviews. So I don't even remember what I said, but I could totally see myself being so emotional in that moment. 'Cause like yeah, it did. It meant so much to me. I like I really wanted to make the team, and I think I was projected to make the team because I think I was second going into it. But to be honest, like I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. Like by no means was I shoo in on the Olympic team. Um, I had made Pan Pacs in 2018 by getting third, and I was like selected in the third round of things. I made Worlds in 2019. I didn't even make the team in pool. I made it in open water. So I had never really gotten second at a selection meet before to like be invited onto the top tier US national meet for that quad. And so I feel like making the team and like making it in the 1500, it just meant so much to me because it was just the outcome of years and years and years of work and not necessarily hitting the level that I wanted to hit. And then getting silver on top of that, like I had never medaled at a top tier or at like an A tier international competition before. So, I mean, doing it at the Olympics for the first time was so amazing. And it like meant the world to be on that team and win a medal for that team. And yeah, it meant a lot because um, I really saw the concept of like collegiate sports throughout after my dad died. Like I had never gone to college. I didn't know what Texas was like. And so my one experience of college swimming was the way my dad's teammates showed up for like my family and my dad after he passed. And so it like created this value of like, oh, your college swim team is where you're gonna find like your for lifers. And so it was just like a really amazing experience to have. And it felt like having his teammates there, like I had a part of him there through that whole journey as well.
It obviously is a much less tragic event for me, but I understand that feeling of like you finding that family in your college team. Like when COVID hit, I swam for a community college, which in California you only get 2 years, and because of COVID, it ended up being four. But I still remember my favorite year and like the people that I still talk to the most was that COVID year where there was literally eight of us on the team and
Oh, yeah.
having that bond of like, okay, none of us want to screw this up. We're all getting tested like three times a week, but also being the only people that we would see outside of
Yeah.
like sitting in our house all day.
Yeah. And like I feel like with like that experience of like my dad and his college teammates being my like first experience of like this is what a college team is like 40 years, I don't know how long my dad was out of college, but like yeah, around 40 years after they graduated college, like it's really crazy where it's like, so I think I just came into Texas like knowing that this team, I had to like give it my all because like they are my for lifers, you know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, unfortunately, I was the exact opposite in that, like, my first year on the team, like, I didn't want to do it. I was like,
Mm,
I don't, and my mom was like, okay, go one day. Go to the first day and just try it. And I went to the first day, and one of my best friends had come back from University of Hawaii and was going to community college and was swimming on the team. So I was like, there was a moment of like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have fun.
mm. Yeah, yeah, it's great stuff.
So with 2024 Olympic trials, jumping way ahead here, in another 4 years or 3 years because of the COVID delay.
Yeah.
When did you know that that would be your final meet, and what were the initial conversations like with like your coaches or with family members or teammates when you decided that that was going to be it?
Yeah, well, I feel like I was trying to make the team for so long and just doing like all sorts of training to try to go times that I needed to go, which in the mile would have been a sub 16 minute. Like I was trying to do everything I could to go sub 16. And it just like wasn't happening. It was just really, really hard. And it was hard to get the yards that I needed to hit, and like maintain school and try to do things where like, because I still really, really valued my education and my degree plan. It would have been one thing if I could have just like, taken a semester off and focused on swim. But honestly, that wasn't a sacrifice that I was willing to make. Some people are. Um, but I wasn't just because I was taking film so seriously. Um, and so I went to Pan Am's in October and it went so poorly. Like I wasn't training the way I was supposed to at all. So I come back and Mitch and Carol sit me down for a meeting and they're like, what are we doing? Like if you want to make an Olympic team, like that's okay, but we're gonna have to like really, really grind something out here. And I just told them, I was like, honestly, I want it to end at trials and like I want to be top 8 at trials. Um, but I don't want to make the team. And basically, it was like, it wasn't even the fact that it was like, if the opportunity presented itself, I would have loved to. I just wanted to end my career with my teammates and be able to like hug them and really appreciate, like, have a fun Olympic trials. And
Yeah.
so it started off in October, but I feel like I had internally been thinking about it for like probably since like August, the August before. So it was like a long process, but we knew going into trials exactly what we wanted to see, and I achieved it, which is good.
You know, that almost mirrors what Lydia Jacoby said after she missed the team. Um, which I think her goals were probably different in what she wanted to do. But I think she sort of mirrored what you're saying of like having goals outside of the pool and having to like balance the priorities of like swimming and college and just any other goals that you might have.
Yeah, and Lydia and I are good friends. I just got coffee with her this morning, and I feel
Oh yeah,
like,
she literally goes to Texas.
yeah, 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 yeah. We just got coffee this morning, but yeah, I think it's important to have that balance if that's what you
Yeah.
want, you know? And I feel like Lydia is always such a good friend to have and why I love her and my having her in my corner because I feel like we think very similarly about certain things. And so, I mean, sometimes you love to have friends that like disagree with you because then you can kind of like gauge
Yeah.
perspective. With Lydia, it's so easy to where I sit down and I'm like, this is where I'm at right now. And she's like, I totally get it. And it's really great to see someone who does get it because not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people do.
She seemed really level-headed in that interview too. Like she was really good at keeping her composure and saying like exactly what she meant, which I feel
Oh,
like is
Lydia's
hard. Is hard like after missing an Olympic team by like hundredths of a second and just having to accept that and like still she still came over and talked to everybody.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So when you touched the wall at the end of the 1500 at trials, talk to me about like the immediate emotions that flooded in and what it meant for you to be able to compete alongside your teammates at your last meet.
Yeah, I wish the emotion hit after I touched the wall, but the emotions were running like the last 10 laps. Like I was fully crying the last 10 laps. Um, I was looking at my splits with Mitch, and he was like, "Yeah, your splits went off." And like, were you crawling? I was like, "Yeah, I was. I was the last 10 laps." Um, I don't even know what I was thinking. Like, it was just so many emotions. Even now, like, I don't even know fully what I'm thinking about everything. Just like grateful, happy, sad, but also like confused as to like what am I gonna do for the rest of my life? And like, I feel like I walked into a room for so long being known as like the swimmer in classroom environments, and like knowing that that identity factor of me is gone is like really, really strange. And honestly, like I'm still kind of getting used to it. Um, so yeah, I feel like it was a balance. Like when I touched the wall, it was like, wow, this was really fun. Wow, I love my team. Wow, I love this sport. Oh my God, what am I gonna do now?
I remember like my last race for my college team, which like I've still swim masters and like still been in the water, but like my last like serious competitive race that I did, I touched the wall, got out, and I had bought a pair of I wear like those Swedish goggles, like the
Mm,
goofy goggles with like the no rubber on them. And like my coach had jokingly made fun of them for years, or like maybe not jokingly, but we're gonna say jokingly.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
bought him a pair as a joke, like just to mess with him. And I like walked up to him, held them up, and was like, "These are for you," and immediately started bawling,
It's
like
so
right
funny.
away. Like he was crying too, and then we started laughing at each other. But like there was that moment of like, what am I gonna do now that I'm not like every year I've had this college season to look forward to. What am I gonna do now that it's not a thing anymore?
Yeah. And like honestly, I feel like I was kind of in a shock after my race. I was texting people who had been in my circle for like a really long time. I was like, I don't know, it feels weird. Like I feel like I'm just gonna go to Austin and like I have to be at morning practice at 7:30 on Monday. Um, so yeah, it was crazy.
So, sort of building off of that, what are you looking forward to the most? Like now that you have this time, now that you have all this freedom to pursue other things, pursue like your film degree. What are you looking forward to most in retirement? And then what do you think you'll miss the most out of being a competitive swimmer?
Yeah. I'm excited to direct. I've been wanting to direct something for a really long time, and I just haven't had the ability to sit down and be able to make a project of my own. I've been doing a lot of like I don't want to say lower level jobs because it's that takes away from it, but I was definitely doing like low commitment jobs. Something where like I can only be there for a few hours a day because if sets run too late, I have practice in the morning, or if I'm on my feet in the sun all weekend long, I can't perform the next week. It ruins my recovery. So I was usually like PAing, gripping, G&E on a lot of sets. And so I never really got to do what I really wanted, which was write and direct. So having that control, I'm really excited about, and being able to put all my energy in those projects. Yeah, I've been wanting to sit down and write for a really long time, so I've been able to do that again, which is fun. What am I gonna miss the most? My team. Like, I've been doing a really good job still hanging out with them every day, but like, my God, they were my everything. Um, they were just with it through so much, and um, I can still hang out with them every day, even though I'm not swimming, but like, I feel like you miss so much because so many inside jokes get made on that pool deck and during weight sessions and in the locker room, and having to not be there for that anymore is really, really sad. But they know that I'm going to keep bothering them for a long time. Can't get rid of me.
I remember like I met my girlfriend in my final season. Like she had just joined the team. Like um, I met her then, and like as the season was ending, we're like, oh my god, are we gonna like still hang out after the season's over? And it's like we ended up hanging out more.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, everyone, I was saying bye to everyone at practice because I visited them yesterday. And I was like, why am I saying bye? I literally see you guys every day now.
You're
Like,
like, see you tomorrow.
yeah, literally. So, and I'm actually thinking of going to team dinner tonight. So,
It's nice to still have that culture and still have to have known that you left such a positive effect on people while you were on the team that you still can interact with them and still have that positive relationship with them even when you're not like swimming laps with them every day.
yeah, definitely. And I don't know what I always get like very, I think it's because I'm a writer, but I care a lot about the perception of people, how I'm perceived, how my team is perceived, not my team, but how our team is perceived. And I like to think that a lot of people who see the Texas women's team interact know that it's like we're family, you know? We're
Yeah.
very tight-knit group of girls, and like culture and being friends rather than teammates is very, very important to us. And so I hope people can see that and know that like that squad right there is like we're all so tight. And so yeah, I'm glad that there is a culture created on our team to where even if you're not a regular swimmer, you can always pop up and be a friendly face.
I mean, like, even just from watching NCAA's this year, I got, like, an idea of that, of, like, right after, I think it was Emma Sticklin won the 200 fly, and she, like, her first thing she said was, like, undies, 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 and there was a huge cheer from the crowd. Like, I
Yeah.
immediately got the idea of, like, this is a team that has fun and works hard and is really close.
Yeah. Like it's a great moment. And that honestly, like I feel like the two fly is a great indicator of that because you're showing support for Sticky, but like let alone I feel like that whole heat, like
You had,
Dakota's
like,
always
four people in that final at, like, both trials and
crazy.
NCAA's.
It's crazy. We're a stacked group, especially in butterfly. So being able to have a group where you're supporting each other, but also creating a competitive environment to where you have four people in a heat, just amazing.
Yeah. So now that you've done three Olympic trials,
Mhm.
can you compare your feelings and your emotions and your takeaways from 2016 to now in 2024?
Yeah. 16 was fun. I didn't really know any better. I was just there for a good time, having fun. It was great because that was my entrance into the world of USA swimming. I got interviewed there for the first time. Um, I qualified for junior Pan Pacs, which really introduced me to the whole, honestly, my friend group that I have in Team USA now. Um, Alex Walsh was at that trip. Reagan was too young. I hadn't met Reagan yet. Um, Lucy Nordman. Who else was I close with that trip? Zoe Bartel. These are names that are like, um, I don't know how many people remember these people now, but
I remember the names.
okay. I don't know if
I'm
Kate
a
was.
big enough swim nerd that I remember the
Okay,
names.
good. I don't know if Kate was there yet. That's where I met Bobby for the first time. Bobby, Kieran. Uh, yeah, but then, that introduced me to the world that stayed with me for years. Met Mitch for the first time there. And so that was like the main takeaway of 16 was just having a big meet for the first time to where I had something to look forward to and like my swim career as an elite athlete really, really started. Like I feel like junior team is where that really begins. Um, from there, 2020 was just, or 2021 was a really high pressure trials environment. I knew I had a really good shot at making the team, but I knew I wasn't a shoo-in. And so, but I wanted it so bad. So that one was a little more stressful. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. I was like fear-ridden for like an entire week, but it all worked out at the end. And then 2024 was a little bit more back to my roots that I wanted to experience in 16. I wanted to have like the joy and the gratefulness that I didn't really have in 20. Um, and so I was just having fun with my team, watching more sessions. If I wasn't watching, I was watching on TV, which I couldn't do in 21. Like if I would see someone miss the team, it would like create such a hole in my stomach that I couldn't watch. And so it was a more enjoyable process this time around for sure.
I think that's something that people kind of underestimate about trials and that how pressure filled it is. Like it is arguably the hardest meet in the world because you have to be so good just to make the team that when
Yeah.
you get to the Olympics, you're likely a contender for a medal already.
Yeah, definitely. And like I didn't even realize that at the time. Like I just wanted to be on the team so bad that like I didn't think I was in medal contention. And like to be fair, like no one from the US really was, except for Dex, who was like so far ahead of everyone. And so yeah, I didn't even like process that. I just wanted to be there. So I just created this like so heightened, stressful environment for myself.
I think you ended up going to, I think 1541 is still like the fifth fastest ever.
Didn't know
Which is,
that.
it's the this is the level of like swim nerd that I am. It's the second fastest time out of anybody who's actively competing right now who's not named Katie Ledecky.
That's dope. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that was the race of my life. That was crazy. And I think I dropped 15 seconds that year at 20 years old, which
Damn.
is like crazy. Like that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But crazy.
So, with how prominent Sandpipers of Nevada have been, like they've in the past couple of years especially, they've risen to like they put multiple people on the Olympic team in 2021 and now. Can you talk about what it means for you to I don't know if this is an overstatement to have been but to have been a foundational part of that legacy?
Yeah. Um, I don't know. You need to get Ron or Michael on here, one of the coaches there to talk
I've had
about.
Michael on actually a few years ago. He's like the third ever interview I did.
Oh, that's sick. But yeah, you need to get one of them on and see if my name is in the hat for foundational.
I think it's
I
like
don't.
you and Cody Miller were the first people from Sandpipers that really gained that national level of people like, oh, Sandpipers in Nevada, that's a good team.
Okay, so I'll take the credit then. Um, no, I just feel like it was it just wasn't an overnight thing. And I feel like we saw the work that was getting put in for so long that people kind of trademark it as an overnight success team because we did end up putting so many people on the team in 21. But I feel like we knew we were building something crazy for a really, really long time. Especially the work that we were putting in during COVID when all the pools were shut down. Like we would bike to Lake Mead because the national parks were closed, so you couldn't get your car down there. So we would bike down there with like wetsuits and gear bags on our backs and put the wetsuits on by the water, swim in this like 50-degree water, get out and do like a 7K practice, get out, get on our bikes and bike all the way back up to our cars. So I feel like yeah, people do think it's an overnight success, but like no one knows the grind that really went into it. And it's an honor to be considered one of the names associated with that program. And yeah, it's so cool. I love them so much, and they're grinders for sure.
I feel like it's something where if people actually went back and looked, they'd see like Sandpipers and Nevada athletes like slowly moving up in the rankings at like nationals and junior nationals over the couple of years leading up to those Tokyo Olympic trials. Like it was probably like a gradual buildup, but just people don't tend to look at B finals and C finals and all the results at meets like that. So it was a
Yeah,
surprise of like, oh my god, who are these people when they'd been building to it for a while?
definitely. And I think Sandpipers is such a competitive program to where it wasn't necessarily like, oh, how do we become the number one people in the world? It was more so just so micro contained to where I would be swimming with Aaron and Logan Hauk every day, Aaron Emery and Logan Hauk. And I would be like, I want to beat these people every single day. And so I would work my butt off until I beat them in practice. And that got me so far. And then younger kids will come in and be like, oh, I want to beat Erica and try to beat me every day. But I'm a little more stubborn than that. So I'd fight it off for so long. And through that, I continue to get better and they continue to get better. And I'm sure the culture is still like that because it was like so deeply instilled in everyone that um, we compete to make each other better.
I actually got to. So when I met Michael, he invited me to observe a practice. So I got to go and watch like the senior elite group do a practice for like 2 hours, and I
Were
watched.
you
I
at
think it
Palo?
was
Desert Roots?
the I think Desert Roots. It was the like it was the green building, the big green building, like indoor.
Palo. You were at Palo. Yeah, that's where I went to high school.
Because my uncle lives like down the street from there, so
Sick.
I went there to like swim on my own because I was like, oh, they have lawn course in the mornings. I'll go swim some lawn course. That'll be cool. And I like happened to see them there, and I introduced myself to Michael, and I watched Luke Ellis that afternoon do 3100s freestyle on the minute and hold like 56 every single time.
I
Like,
know exactly what set you're talking about. It was probably beginning of the season if it's 30.
yeah.
Every week you go up 10. So you go 30,
Oh
40, 50,
God.
and then I think you hit 70. Sometimes it depends on the year, and then you go back down.
Oh my God.
But what did I do? I did mine on 102, I think. I think I did 102s, maybe 101s. But like, yeah, you
Damn.
touch, you're there for like 3 seconds and then you push off.
And then I got to swim with like the college away group, and we did
Okay.
like 8 rounds of a 300 free and a 200 IM, and I was dying. And I completely forget the coach's name, but he was so nice, and he was like, "I can give you something easier if you want." I'm like, "No, no, I'm good."
Was it Thomas? Thomas usually runs the
He
college.
was he was a Middle
Jake?
Eastern guy.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
gonna have
remember his name. I'm
yeah, I
fully
don't know.
blanking on it. It was like 2022.
I had one
Um,
where I was like the college group for me when I would come home and train with them from Texas. I think I realized really quickly that I'm not like self-motivated enough to swim with the college
yeah.
group. Like I either need Mitch or Carroll sitting over my wing or I needed Ron. And so I just hit a point where I was like, I need to go home. I texted Ron. I was like, hey, I'm back. I need to work out with you.
I'm like that too. Like my coaches, like if they can motivate me, if they can be like, remember this thing that you did at this meet and how cool that was. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
I just need like a 15. Like this is a tangent, but or I just need like a 1500 to warm up for a 50 free. Like I went my lifetime best in the 50 free a minute after doing a 1500,
That's
and that's when
crazy.
I knew I was a distance swimmer.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm not built like that. Ain't no way.
Yeah. Like I need to have like 20 minutes of warm up to be able to do like an actual set.
Yeah. I need someone who like knows me in and out that can get me going.
Yeah.
And that's Chad, Mitch Carroll here, and Ron back at home. Or Vegas. This is home.
So this was something you talked about in your Make Zone interview about the people who were DMing you and talking about how happy they were to have a voice of representation in the sport of swimming, which is something that I think we are in desperate need of more of. Can you talk about what it means for you to be a voice and a representative for multiple different communities that typically don't see much of themselves in this sport?
Yeah. It's definitely an honor and I'm so grateful for it and having the opportunities that were given with me. It's not something I take for granted, but I do think it shouldn't be at a place where it's as uncommon as it is. And honestly, I don't even know why it's so uncommon. Especially for queer people. I don't know if it's just the fear of coming out or there's just some underlying thing, but I was on Twitter a few days ago and I saw um, someone made a comment on how white Team USA was this year. And it's true, right? Like we're seeing long-lasting effects of segregation and the discrimination we'd seen against Black people at public pools in America back when segregation was around. And the outcomes of that by having two people of color on Team USA is like an insane stat. And I do think active efforts need to be made and put in to have more diversity and equity within the sport. Yeah, I would love to not be the only role model. And I'd say more are coming out. We have Nick Albiero now. Is the main one that immediately pops to my head. Um, we need more voices. And yeah, like having more queer people is also amazing, but I'd love to see um, more Black people and brown people make it really, really far and be on Olympic teams and national teams and world championship teams.
It's something that like I'm really happy that I've seen like people like Cullen Jones. I think have been doing a lot to get kids in the water and to get them swimming. And it was really great seeing like Simone Manuel and Natalie Hines making the team in 2021. But I think you're exactly right. Like we need more people to step up and like be that voice and be that drive to get more kids in the water, to get more kids in disadvantaged communities and people of color to be able to swim.
Yeah, definitely. It needs to be forward and yeah, I love Cullen is such an icon within the sport.
He's
That's why I
also
love
always so like he's always so good at dressing up. Like he always looks so good.
amazing. Well, that's why I love working with him at Team Speedo, right? Like having someone who I value with how much he's moved forward the sport and having him as a mentor has been amazing. But no, my on another note about how good he looks all the time, my sister saw him at a Speedo party and she was like, I just need to tell you, like your skin is amazing. What is your skincare routine? She was obsessed. She couldn't let it go.
Like he's probably only like 35, right? Like he's He's not like, I mean, maybe he's closer to his 40s, but that man has, I say aged very loosely here, but he has aged gracefully.
Amazing. He's also just so cool.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, he's
he's
so much
crazy.
fun.
Love Colin.
I went up and took a picture with him at Golden Goggles last year, and I show that picture to people, and I'm like, look at how badly I am dressed compared to this man. Like,
So
he
fun.
was in like a tan suit and tie, and like he had a fedora on. He looked amazing.
Amazing.
Okay, so we're gonna get into some fun questions here before we move into our letterbox quiz. I
Okay.
have. I want to ask you about when did you discover your love for film, and like what are some of the career possibilities? You've touched on the directing and the writing, but what are some of
Yeah.
the things that excite you the most about that field?
Yeah, how did I know film? I always liked camera work. Always liked camera work, even on my iPad where it was like the pre-made trailers. I would love making those trailers with my friends all the time. Wanted to buy cameras, super into it. Don't even know why. And then when I was 14, I created a vlog account and I would vlog junior nationals and I'd sit and edit it on iMovie and loved it. Just loved recording my friends and seeing what these swim meets were like. And knew I wanted to be in the industry, didn't know what I really wanted to do. Um, and senior in high school, I knew I wanted to major in film, be a film major. I knew that since I was like 16, 15. But senior year of high school, it was like November. I really wanted to watch the movie Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig. And me and my mom watched it together. And if you've seen Lady Bird, great movie about a relationship of her girl and her mother as she is growing up into her senior year, touches a little bit into her freshman year of college, and it shows that growth at such an important time in this girl's life. And she was nothing like me. I didn't grow up in Sacramento. I'm not white, and I'm not straight. Yet I left that movie and I felt so seen. And I felt like the process of being a woman and a relationship with their mom is just so accurate. As one minute you're fighting with each other at your throats, and then the next you're bonding over this cute thing you see on a rack at a shopping center. And I knew that those are the kind of stories I wanted to tell. And from there, it really opened up the world of what genre I wanted to go into. I really started to educate myself on films that were directed by women, written by women, that passed the Bechdel test, which was really important. And yeah, I just really started to educate myself and knew that I wanted to write stories and be able to tell those stories that I'd written.
You know, I like briefly thought about being a film major, like it, because I am not nearly on the level of knowledge of film that you have, but I
Mm.
do try to go see like indie movies and movies that aren't $200 million, $300 million budgets that people won't typically go see.
Yeah, and that's the fun part about film, right? Like you have people who love the mass commercial,
Yeah,
mass produced movies, which is great, and you need directors for that. But there's also people who just like movies or
yeah.
like indie movies. There's such a wide range into being like a film buff, and I love that.
One year I will actually say I will. One year I will actually fulfill the thing that I say, where I say I'm going to watch every Oscar-nominated Best Picture film. I have tried for like the past 3 years, and I haven't
That's
done
gonna
it
take a
yet.
long time. It's gonna take a long
Yeah.
time. Did you say nominated or all the ones that have won over the years?
No, all the ones that are nominated like for a
Oh,
respective
that's
year.
actually pretty easy. I do a pretty good job with that. I tried because I do the Oscars list that I do
Yeah.
every year coming. And so, um, if you kind of keep up, this is a little more work, but like I feel like if you're caught up in the movie world, you can kind of know who's going to be nominated prior. And so I usually have like 4 to 5 of the movies done, and there's usually like 10 nominees, seven to
Yeah.
10. And so I only have like a few more to have to watch by then.
I need to start doing that. I need to start getting on it earlier because you're right, there's definitely movies where you can predict that is Oscar bait, that is going to get nominated.
Definitely. And like once you're in the know, you kind of it's fun because I always play a game where I write down who I think is going to be nominated every year, and that's a list I keep to myself. And usually I'm right with like one or two shockers.
I'm pulling for Dune 2 to get nominated this year.
I could see it. It was so good box office wise. I could see it
Yeah.
being nominated. What else? I mean, Inside Out 2 is definitely going to get a nom. It's probably going to win Best
Did you
Animated.
see it yet? Because I remember you told me you were planning to see it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go this weekend.
It is so
But
good. Like, when I first, without spoiling anything, when I first watched it, it didn't leave as, I didn't think it left a lasting impression on me, but I have continued to think about that movie, and it's been like a month since I saw it.
interesting. I'm really excited. Yeah, I could see that being nominated. Um, I need
I'm
to get close.
excited for The Wild Robot.
Who's
Have you
that
seen the
directed
trailer?
by?
It's by DreamWorks, and I feel like DreamWorks is really good at, is really consistent at releasing like a few stinkers every year, and then
Yeah,
having like one amazing film.
definitely. Definitely DreamWorks is good at that. No, I'll check it out. I think what was the wavelength that I was on? Taste of not Taste of Things. It's the new Yorgos Lanthimos movie with Emma Stone and William Dafoe.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
I was texting someone about it literally earlier. Let me see.
New Emma Stone movie.
I was talking to Carol about it.
Kinds of Kindness.
Kinds of Kindness, that's gonna be a big one. Um, besides Lanthimos, it's usually Nolan, Fisher, Lanthimos, Todd Haynes, Steven Spielberg, Scorsese if he decides to do another one. Um, yeah, those are the ones where whenever they make movies, they tend to consistently get nominated. So just staying with like those kind of trends.
I wish Wes Anderson got more love from the Academy. Like, even if
Definitely.
like some of his films have been inconsistent in quality in my opinion, but at least the production value has always been consistently great in his films.
It does. And I honestly feel like Anderson is just not a director who's like racing for the Oscar. Like
He's just making goofy, silly movies.
he tends to make movies that he wants to tell, which I love and have so much
Yeah.
respect for. And so I do think that makes it harder to have like a consistent relationship with the Academy.
The fact that he doesn't even get nominated for like production design,
I
like,
know.
gets me so mad.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time he was super successful in the box office? Was it or in the for the Academy? I
I
feel like
think
it
it
was
was the Grand Budapest
I think it was
Hotel.
Budapest as well.
Yeah.
Was Budapest before Fantastic Mr. Fox?
No, Budapest was 2014. Fantastic Mr. Fox was 2009.
Oh my God. It's been
Yeah.
that long. But yeah, I think it was Budapest.
Yeah, I think so too. Which I will forever be mad. As great as that movie soundtrack is, I will be forever mad that it won. I think it won an Oscar, and the Interstellar soundtrack was either nominated and didn't win, or didn't even get nominated. I will forever be mad about that.
Oh man, Interstellar. Classic.
I love that film so much. I get that it's kind of a crazy movie, but I
I
am angry
feel
that that movie didn't get the love it deserved.
this is horrible, but I've started to like movies less being in film school and if it's everyone else's favorite movie. So Interstellar is one where I've just liked it less because every single person in my school is like obsessed with it.
I think so. There's a game that I played called Outer Wilds. That's
Mhm.
very like time loop sci-fi, like explore in space stuff. And I think I started liking Interstellar more after playing that game because I was
Mhm.
looking for something that just scratched that itch
That's
of
fair.
like,
I mean,
um,
hey, I'm a big McConaughey fan. I
I see. Weirdly, I usually don't like him in movies that much, but he is like my favorite part about Interstellar.
ooh.
Which makes me think I need to go back and give him another chance on his other movies.
You should. My favorite movie that he's in is Dallas Buyers Club. I
I
don't
need
even
to
know
watch it. I need to watch
who
it.
that.
Like, I've heard very good things. I actually literally got told by a parent earlier today when we were talking about like movies that we like that I should watch that movie.
Dallas Buyers Club is really good. I've really grown to appreciate like Texas cinema just being here. And so that's one that I love.
You were talking about Lady Bird earlier and how like although like you weren't the same ethnicity or the same like orientation or just although there were many aspects that you didn't connect to the main character through, how the message of the movie still rang through for you. And it reminded me of when I watched Soul for the first time.
Mm.
I felt like I'm Middle Eastern. I'm not black. I'm not middle aged and playing jazz. But how the message of that movie about like how you should still be going for your goals and still be trying your best to reach them, and if you fail, at least you know you tried.
Yeah.
Like the message of that movie still rang through for me really well. Like I still go back and watch it all the time.
It's classic. It's a good movie.
So this is a very, very, I think, potentially difficult question, or you may have seen it and you may have already had it lined up and ready. Your top 3 favorite movie directors and their best movies.
Ooh, Gerwig, Lady Bird. Emma Siegman. I love both of her movies. She's only made 2, Bottoms and Shiva Baby.
I need to watch Bottoms.
I think I like Shiva maybe more than Bottoms, which is crazy because I love Bottoms and it's like on my all-time favorite movie list. But like Shiva movie is, I'd say, like the better movie. Love Shiva Baby. Let me see. Celine Sciamma, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And then, oh my God, there's been a director that I've been super into watching. Japanese director. I don't remember his name off the top of my skull, so I'm gonna find it right now because I want to get it right.
Oh, I'm looking up the name of my favorite director or of one of my favorite directors just to make sure I get it right.
Let's see. Hirokazu Koreeda, and my favorite movie that he has made is Monster. It aired at Cannes last year, and I thought for sure it'd be nominated, but it wasn't. But I love that movie. He did Shoplifters, which is also a great movie, and I recently watched a film called Our Little Sister that I really enjoyed. But I'd say Monster is probably the number one.
So I gotta go with Wes Anderson, definitely. This is in no particular order. Wes Anderson definitely has to be on my list because I will go and watch his movies any time, like without even having seen the trailer.
Yeah, what's his favorite film? Would you or his best
Isle
film,
of
would you-
Dogs. I want to.
Isle of
I
Dogs
want to
is
see
great.
him make more animated films because I really like his animated films.
Isle of Dogs is really good.
Christopher Nolan has to be on there for Interstellar. I love that
Fair.
movie.
Nolan's great.
And then this guy has not directed very many movies. I looked up and I've only seen one of his movies, but I have to put him on here. His name is Tyler Nilson. I don't know if you've ever heard of this movie. It's called The Peanut Butter Falcon.
I have seen Peanut Butter
I
Falcon.
love that movie. I feel like I'm one of like the 6 people that saw it in theaters, but I love
It
that
was
movie.
great. I mean, it came out right before COVID, right?
Yeah, it came out like fall 2019. I think it's August.
Yeah, right before COVID, and so I feel like not a lot of people ended up being able to see it. But I think I saw it during quarantine when I was like really, really grinding out my movies.
I like went to the theater to watch it because I like had a trailer come up on YouTube, and I was like, "This movie looks bonkers. I love it."
It was great.
There was like 3 people in the theaters, but I was like, that was what started me on like I try to go see at least one indie movie or a movie like that isn't made on like a super high budget that like not a lot of people will go to. I try to go see one once a month. I haven't been very consistent at that, but I try to go do that. That was what started it for me.
I think Kelly is coming home, so if you hear noise, let me double check.
No worries. All right, I have 1, 2, 3. They're all short reviews, so it won't take long to read them.
Okay.
I have like I think 6 or 7 of them. So the first one is it's good for a fun watch. Follows your typical rom-com plot, but Reynolds was funny and Bullock was immensely talented like always. The ending made me happy.
The Proposal.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I should explain for people watching the premise here. I'm going to read you the review off of your letterboxd account, and you just have to say the name of the movie that the review is from.
Perfect. I need some Bullock and Reynolds together.
That was an easy one. That was your first review, actually, too.
Yes.
Vroom vroom. I now speed home in my Honda CRV and try to feel like a badass.
Um, Baby Driver?
It's Ford v Ferrari.
Oh!
This one might be very easy. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, the Disaster Artist.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try to pick a hard one. In this review, you're quoting Nina, and you said, "Wow, that was so much better the second time." I don't know who Nina. I don't know. I just copied and pasted it.
It's my little sister. That was so much better the second time. That's it? That's all the review says?
Yep.
It was so much better the second time.
I can give you a hint if you want. If you want a hint.
Sure, but not too revealing.
This was a Oscar-nominated film.
So much better the second time. Watched twice. Oscar-nominated film. Black Swan?
Parasite.
Oh,
I didn't want to be too specific in saying a movie that won an Oscar.
Okay.
All right.
God, I watched Parasite so many times.
Oh, my friend finally got me to watch it, and I was like, oh my god, this movie's amazing.
So good.
I'll say it, this is my favorite Harry Styles fanfic cinematic universe movie.
Oh, easy. Idea of you.
I had a feeling that would be an easy one, too.
Because I watched it South by Southwest, and I left, and I was like, I had so much fun watching it.
Alright, this is one of my favorite movies, just because of something you say in this review. Do I like the American military movie, or do I think Vroom Vroom Fly Fast? I like it because Vroom Vroom Fly Fast.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. This was a movie. I finally watched this movie on the plane to trials, and I hadn't watched it, and I cried like 4 times.
Okay.
Do I have mommy issues, or am I just Asian?
Everyone but you. Or no.
I got what you meant. Yeah. I finally watched that movie, and I'm like, I felt like it was a crime that I hadn't seen it sooner.
I love that movie so much.
I need to watch it again like 6 times.
Great.
Okay. A Damien Chazelle film, but make it philosophical.
Damien Chazelle film, but make it philosophical. Damien Chazelle. Whiplash. Make it philosophical. Is that Soul?
Yeah. Alright, I got one more. Which okay, if I need somebody to explain this movie to me because I watched it and I did not understand a second of it. Okay. Imagine me watching this with my family and saying, "Oh, that's a great shot," every 20 minutes.
Cinematic. Can I get a genre?
Horror? Yeah. Horror. Or like thriller.
Okay, so that means it's probably either by Rodger Edgar.
I can look up who this movie's by for you.
Okay, here are the top 3 in my head right now. Witch, Hereditary, and Midsommar.
You're close.
None of those 3?
I never said that. I can tell you do you want me to tell you if it's one of those 3?
No. I don't think it's Hereditary, because Hereditary I didn't love, like, I liked it, I wouldn't say I loved it. Midsommar.
Yeah. I didn't understand that movie, and I was only like half paying attention to it, I think, because I was watching it with a group of friends. But like, what was I supposed to take away from the ending?
Ooh, I actually really like that movie. I don't know. It's just a slasher film. It's just
it's just chaos.
Don't join cults. That's the premise. Just don't join a cult.
Yeah, that's all of them. I think you got most of them. I think the only one that you didn't get was Ford v Ferrari. That was the only one.
And Parasite. I didn't get Parasite.
Oh, yeah.
This too. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
That could have been so much harder, though. I feel so much better.
I really tried to find ones that were, like, either very oddly specific, oddly specific, but didn't mention anything about the movie itself, like, didn't, like, or, like, on the easier side, had, like, an actor's name in it, to give you, like, a couple, like, a couple surefire ones, but damn, you got like so many of those.
I have so many. I also just like hearing you say that, and like I don't remember writing it. I'm like, God, I'm so funny.
I did. Part of my like interview process is like I try to go through deep dives of people to like get good questions that that they haven't heard before, or that are like, I try to make people's time worth it in the questions that I ask them. Your Twitter's very funny.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like if you're good on Twitter, that means you're funny in your day to day. I just claim that. I'm funny. That's
like funniest people in the mix zone were you and Zach Harding.
Good. I'll take that title. I'll claim it. I may not be the smartest. Hell, I don't even have to be the prettiest. I go in a room, I know I'm the funniest one.